Hello everyone, and welcome to something that has not happened yet on my channel. More of a vibe type of blog instead of doing a more in-depth review or any tactica video. So what I really wanted to share with you was some experiences of me playing through the Dead Aros fall campaign, and most like campaign Paradiso. I honestly enjoy Fluff Infinity quite a lot. This is how I started playing Infinity, because of the fluff, then because of the miniatures, and on the third place probably because of the rules. So in that particular order. But I actually purchased a lot of books with the scenarios, and the campaign Paradiso was one of the first I purchased, but I've never really had an opportunity to play through the campaign Paradiso. So we had this lovely opportunity to play an event for 2 days scheduled, where we had a bunch of tables, like some opportunities to make a campfire, sort of like in Boy Scouts type of event, where we were supposed to play for the campaign Paradiso. In the end, the event was definitely fun. There was not that much play overall. It was more like integrating and just having fun. Nevertheless, I managed to play through 4 scenarios of the campaign Paradiso. And yeah, overall, just to make some impressions, I really did enjoy it, just to give some context. So, for a change, for the background, I did some short clips as far as the campaign Paradiso. So, I'll try to do a voiceover on them. So, that's pretty much me and the area where we were playing in. We had 8 experienced opponents. Then I took a Varuna for a spin, and the first game was me playing against Shizvasti on this particularly lovely table. Then we had some Bakunin, we did have Steel Phalanx, and then we have the JSA, and 2 Invincible players and 1 Assassin Baram, which was played by my girlfriend. So the first game was against Shizvasti, and you can see my miniatures advancing, and really quickly the Gvilo was really problematic for me to take on. The only piece I could do it with was with the Orc. The Kamau was, overall did a good job. Bipandra was cool. I found a really cool fire team with the Orc, Bipandra. Kamau, well, first it got critted off by the Q-drone, but then I picked it up and killed the Q-drone. So it was quite an enjoyable first game. Then I played against the Bakunin in a scenario that was like a lot of consoles pushed diagonally. I took a Squall for the spin, and I was playing against the GoPod, which you can see, and the Lizard. And yeah, really quickly, Bakunin player went first. The GoPod died on all of my reactive pieces because I took like 1,000,000 of them. Then I killed the Lizard combination between my other pieces and the Squall, and from there it was like a cleanup, so really easy game. You can see here, that's kind of how the board state advanced. You can see in the middle there's a 0. Behind this big building was a GoPod that was destroyed. And yeah, on the other tables, generally what happened in this particular event was that we were trying to play simultaneously, but at different paces with no time schedules. So I was doing missions really quickly, so I played 4 games, and most of the other players played either 3 or 2. So it kind of derailed the whole schedule. But yeah, everyone was playing a different scenario, and it was sort of making a cohesive story. So it was like really fun. I think that it should be something you could try out. Then you can see that pretty much we also were playing with the spec op rules, and this is very important because we had upgrades to the army, as you can see in the book, and you can also get the upgrades for the spec ops. It's either one of the two. Every objective point you get is an experience point, and you could either invest into making your army stronger overall or into the spec ops. And I don't know, like spec ops feels kind of really weak in N5 compared to what it was in N3, for example, because a Fusilier with like mimetism doesn't really make it like big of a difference. But we did also have some additional rules as far as the opportunities for the spec ops to get experience. So we get the experience for surviving, for killing somebody, for doing the objective, and in every single game I try to do something with my spec ops, like something really fun, and every single time it failed. When I hit, it just, my opponent saved. When I tried to push the button, it failed. So yeah, like every single game I tried to do something fun with the spec ops, but it just, no luck was there to be found. And when I finally geared him up, and he was like very strong, yeah. So when I finally found out, and he's really strong, we finished up playing because we were out of time. So here's my spec ops after the entire table was cleaned up. Is trying to first push the console, and then he's trying to do the do a kill. So he will get the console, but not the kill. Tutaj drugi rozkaz będzie wykonywać rzut. Yes! Combi against the flashbot. 6 w celu! 6 w celu! And just save, so... To za chuj! And just hide, so... Yeah, that's kind of the thing was with the overall event and how the Spec Ops turned out. Then this was for the final game and we were playing in the evening and it was extremely cold and my hands were like super cold and I only got this one short video of me playing in a Steel Phalanx and like Atalanta just killed almost entire my army. And even my Spec Ops with Albedo -3 and HMG failed to kill the Atalanta. So you can see like the entire flank collapsed. Then I had another game to play against the Steel Phalanx, but this time was me defending the prototype. So again, pretty much the Steel Phalanx went first, did some stuff, then Cutter revealed and just obliterated everyone. So this was definitely a game where, you know, Cutter did the Cutter things. And this overall event led me to a lot of experience with Varuna. Well, not a lot of experience, but some experience, and it gave me the idea to maybe try Varuna more, like play it in some more competitive events. So I took it to an IGL and I took it some GT, like looking for games. And yeah, I'm not really happy with how Varuna turned out. It's definitely fun, so I'll just do some quick impressions as far as the Varuna goes once the entire video runs. So you can see I pretty much clean up the house with the Steel Phalanx, and yeah, that's about it. So me being really lazy, I just grabbed this really quickly as far as Varuna, and this is some impressions. It's more of a vibe style check, so feel free to agree with me or not agree. It's not necessarily supported in science or any, and I played probably around 10 games of Varuna, but I did play a lot of other factions and as far as N5, and I think I have a really good idea where Varuna is, and the update to Varuna was definitely very nice. What it definitely did was allow for like the ability to mix and match, right? Mix and match with the fire teams. So definitely they changed that you have the Arnerto, you have the Fusiliers, the ability to duo Fusiliers, right? And ability to duo Kamals. The flexibility that you received from the fire teams was definitely an extremely good change. It just allows to have an extremely fun list building. The fact that you can now link Kamau with a Kamau or Kamau with a Montesa and do a lot of combinations between those units is definitely a step in the right direction. It's definitely fun. List building is actively fun, so that's also something that I found that you can do tons of different builds, and those pieces really well slot in together between each other. So yeah, that's definitely the upside. The Montesa dismounted, it's definitely very good, right? It's very good profile. That's also something. But like everything sums up to the fact that it's a fun, right? It's fun list building, it's fun to create the fire teams. You can slot in a Pathfinder, you can combine a Fusilier with a helot, with an Orc, and you have so many puzzles, but then you get hit with a reality of just the downsides of all the, well, it should have been downsides, I guess, but you know, apologies. But the ups and downs. So the down for the Varuna is that the only disco is on Queen, right? And Queen is not good. Like 26 points for a multi-rifle with a boarding pistol and 1 wound model. Sure, if he gets inside of 16, then maybe. But he's very expensive. His 26 points is not anything. Well, it's technically a specialist. He really competes in a price point with a Zulu Cobra. For example, for those prices, or with a Kamau that, you know, brings tactical awareness, or with a Montesa. So the slot between 20 and 30 points is extremely crowded, and it's very disheartening that I have to take a Queen if I don't take a Cutter. So then you have no albedo, right? So I know, it's, you know, sometimes people may say that it's unnecessary or it's you know, not really needed. But the thing is that when you run into so many supreme reactive pieces, like against for example Braille or Teucer, Gvilo, like those are good pieces, right? But you have to shoot through. And if you cannot use your mimetism and you have no albedo to stack the mods on them, you're forced to take multiple of conflict gain fights. The shooters that are not a cutter are mediocre. That's another point. A lot of the times when I was playing those games, what it usually came down to me was either me rolling 3 Kamau sniper dices against a 2 dice opponent, even against Major Luna, and it's, you know, it's doable, but it's not the best shootout. I know I took much worse with the Blacker sniper, but the Kamau sniper is not that good in the reactive turn. It's okay in the active turn, but you know, not terribly great. It's good at removing Mem6 pieces, but the Black Air Sniper also does that with just one fewer dices. But the thing is, if you're running into MSV pieces or like pieces that have mimetism, or they have more dices than 2, you end up just throwing coin flips one after another because your best shooters are like Kamau HMG or the Orc, so they are very much, you know, mediocre. Cutters can struggle to go into midfield. And you know, you could say that this was always true, but nowadays you have so many more puzzles. I should elaborate, I guess. That's what I mean is... let me just elaborate this, because it will cut me down. So, oops. So now you have so many more pieces that are in the midfield. So there are puzzlers, there are EM mines. Previously, Cutter could just walk through the midfield and ignore a lot of stuff because reactive Kamau pieces would not dare to reveal against him, and you could usually walk into a shock mine and just don't care. But now you can walk into an EM mine, you can walk into a puzzler, you can walk into a monofilament mine. So there are a lot of more tools that can stop down the Cutter, and at the same time, you don't really have a good ways to clear out the midfield, right? No good ways to clear midfield. For example, you can have a Red Eye or a Dart in Kestrel. You could have Liankai, Shona, or generally really quick and fast attackers in Svartalfheim. So I'm always doing this in comparison to the other sectors of Pana, to be clear. So this also means that this is not really not that good army. And every single time I played helots, they always disappointed me. They just never delivered. More expensive and weaker. So the helots may not exactly be changed. They are still the annoying guys with 2 rockets. But now the camo helots have cost 4 points more, right? So it costs 4 more points per each helot, and it starts to add up when you take 2 or 3 helots. It suddenly becomes 10-12 points that you need to downgrade from somebody. And previously, the best attacker was probably having 4 dices with one like mod. So the helot was really threatening against those pieces. If they ignored the helot and engaged one of your other models like the Kamau, Blitzen, or sorry, not Blitzen, Kamaus, the Orc Feuerbach and so on, you could not really disrespect the helot, right? Or you could use a specialist to grab a console, but then the helot was covering, so you could not disrespect the helot. But now, first of all, the attackers are so much stronger that the helot usually just struggles to even land a hit, even if it's unopposed. Or they are so tough that they just don't care that they are hit by a rocket launcher because it has, you know, just 2 dices, damage 6. They have to, or they just split the fire and blow the helot out of the water anyways, because they are so much stronger than your reactive pieces already that they can safely split their fire and they should be fine against the Kamau sniper anyways. Because previously, if you were risking the Kamau, then you could get hit by 2 dices. Now you can only get hit by 1 dice. So it gives much more leeway for the attacking piece to just ignore your main reactive piece to blow up the helot. And even the specialists are usually a gunfighters of their own, and even those specialists that you could previously snipe with the helots now just blow the helot out of the water. So I tried to play with the sensor guys, the FTO ones with the Patsy, and oh my god, they were like so horrible. They have all the downsides of the total reaction bots with none of the upsides. And by that I mean that they just have like 0 armor, no second unconscious state. And losing them degrades your fire team, as opposed to having a group 2 total reaction bot that just goes down and you don't really care. Every single time I tried to put those helots on reactive pieces, just got instantly destroyed at the first order. And every single time I thought that I would much better have not picked them, not use them in reactive pieces. And mind you, I always shot in the good ranges because I'm not a moron. But nevertheless, even with 4 or 5 dices on BS11, somebody slaps a -6 on you, you're shooting on 5s, and if you don't fish a crit, then you're just cooked. And even if you fish a crit, the damage is, you know, it's PS6, a rocket launcher at best, or even a shock marksman or red fury. Most of the things just don't care to get critted by those things. It's not like this at HMG critting your sniper that's on the rooftop and stuck and can't be revived. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy building them, I enjoyed playing them, but every single time I thought like I was trying to make a puzzle, and my opponent was just painting a picture. Like I was creating a puzzle of all the remaining puzzles to create a picture, and then my opponent was just painting the wall red with a paint, and they didn't have to go through all the hassle. So yeah, overall I think the Varuna, I'm not really happy with how Varuna turned out. It's more of a mixed feelings. I love the new profiles, list building is fun, but it just doesn't have the power. It's not a powerhouse that it used to be. You let me know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're supposed to play Varuna completely different. But the Montesa can't really carry the entire sectorial on its back, and you know, you can play a Cutter, but Cutter is not that good that it was in previous editions. And the problems with Cutter were always the same. It is expensive, has no close range, but it's even more multiplied by the hellish midfields that you have. Now also the reactive pieces are much stronger, so it's more likely that your Cutter gets slowed down by a Toyser or a Blacker than previously, because previously the top of the food chain was the Atalanta and Cutter just brute forced her, but now Atalanta is not even on the top of the food chain. So yeah, I don't think I will pick up Varuna competitively anymore. It's better than Shock Army, but probably I would rank it 4th out of 6 because you have 6 sectorials. No, say 5th out of 6, so second to last. It's only better than Shock Army, but probably worse than even Military Orders and definitely Hammer. So, thanks for the video, so thanks for staying with me, I hope you got some ideas out of it. Well, I know it was mostly whining and complaining, but again, it was like a vibe too. So, thanks for watching and have a good day, and enjoy yourself and enjoy Infinity. Bye!